Morning, welcome to my Tattersall Side Chat. I'm on my way to work. I haven't made one of these in a while. Regarding cryptocurrency, it's been a cruel summer. I keep hearing that song on the radio, so it seems appropriate. It's been kind of a cruel summer. Not really. It depends on how you're invested. If you're purely into altcoins, as I mostly am, mostly purely, it's complicated. And I've said too much. No. If you're purely into altcoins, maybe it's been a little rough. I think there was some confusion around whether or not sell in May and walk away was a good idea this year, because this seems like a different cycle that we're going through, and there were quite a few people who were thinking that selling in May and walking away was going to be a bad idea for once, although that's always been the thing to do. Turns out, well, if you were just talking about Bitcoin, then no, you didn't. I think you wanted to hold on to it, but for pretty much anything else, like the last couple days of May was the time to sell and walk away. But here we are in the middle of July, and Bitcoin is rallying like crazy. Alts have kind of rallied quite a bit. My portfolio of alts is up, 20% or so. ETH, as of today, it had been throttling around 3,000 after dipping down below 2,500. Well, what was it, 2,000 there for a while. But if you bought it, let's see, when was it? Was it at 2,000? Man, it's been a long year. So much has happened. But ETH, all that to say, has been throttling around 3,000. It kind of hung onto that for a few days this past week. And today, now I just looked, and it's 3,200. It looks like it's on its way up, which is great, because as I keep saying, in order for all the altcoins to do well, ETH has to do well. I think if ETH can really rally, and Bitcoin dominance winds up dropping after Bitcoin just had the rally that it had up to 123,000, and then back down to, it went down to 116. Now it's at 118, 119 range. So it's holding pretty strong. I think I'm going off on another tangent here, but anybody who is hoping that they're saying oh shoot, Bitcoin's at 120, should have bought it when it was at 100 or 98. I'm just gonna wait for it to drop down there again, and then I'll jump in. It might be too late. Might be too late for that. I don't know if we're gonna, the way things are going, I don't know if we're gonna see that again until the next bull market, whenever, or the next bear market. Sorry, whenever that is, however that happens. Which that might not be. Nobody knows, but all things being equal, maybe that'll be next summer, and hopefully we get a good solid altcoin season before then. But anyway, so ETH is looking really strong right now. Maybe we'll get a small altcoin rally. I don't know if this is going to be altcoin season. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen until maybe the fall, or this winter before Christmas, and then next spring again, maybe, depending on all the other macroeconomic factors. You have the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates, and then flipping to quantitative easing from quantitative tightening, if that happens. Although now I just, the news yesterday I was reading was that once again Trump is on the warpath to replace Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. If he just does that in order to force them to lower interest rates, I think that's generally seen as a pretty bad thing. I mean, yeah, he may get the interest rates to be lowered, but the confidence in the markets, in the U.S. market, it just means like if the king can just dictate whatever he wants, how, we're going to lose a lot of confidence. The Fed is supposed to be independent, and honestly, I think them holding interest rates the way that they have so far has been fairly wise, because, and I think most economists would agree and understand that given all the tariffs that Trump is implementing and how that hasn't really even sunk into the grand economy yet. The effects of that, the ramifications haven't really been seen yet. I think for the Fed to just go ahead and start lowering interest rates would be premature. And yeah, we've got a lot of potentially inflation to worry about. I don't know. That's a whole other topic. But anyways, I think regardless of that, the way things are going with the crypto markets. The other thing is this week. So this is Crypto Week in Washington. There's 3 bills that they were hoping to get passed. It's the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Act. I think that's the name of it. But the goal is to establish that we're not going to ever form any CBDCs in the United States, which a lot of other countries are doing. Central bank digital currency is what that is, and which is probably preferable to what I think they were trying to do in I want to say it's the Genius Act, which instead of having one central bank digital currency in a country, the laws permit it so that like really any corporation, I guess, or any entity can just launch their own stable coin. So you'd have Walmart has their own stable coin, and if you want to shop at Walmart, you get a Walmart card that uses their stable coin or something along those lines, or an app, and you can trade that. And then Target has a stable coin, and friggin' Save Mart has a stable coin. I don't know. And so you want to have thousands of different stable coins floating around the U.S. Like, great, that's all just what we need. And then when you have, Walmart has its own stable coin, and say there's, a billion of it in circulation, is probably more than that. Theoretically, Walmart is supposed to have that capital to back that stable coin up. But according to, with these laws that they're putting into place and the kind of oversight, the government oversight that they're talking about, you're kind of setting up another situation, kind of like similar to like the FTX thing, where there's not going to be much oversight, and there's no way that the government is going to be able to oversee all these companies running all these different stable coins, and actually ensuring that they have the money there in case if the stable coin tanks, and they don't have the money to back it up, and then you have a major crash, and maybe that expands into the greater economy somehow. There's ripple effects. So it's a dangerous thing to do. I think as obviously as pro crypto as I am, I think that and the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Act, from what I've read, they haven't been written so well. And I have concerns about those. Like, there's not a lot of, people give Senator Elizabeth Warren a lot of crap for being so like over the top consumer protection, blah blah blah, and railing against cryptocurrency in general. And sometimes I agree with that stance, that she's a little bit she can be a little bit too crazy, too overly concerned. I won't say crazy. That's anyways. But in this case, the way that the bills are written, like, there's not really a lot of consumer protection. There's not a lot of government oversight. It's a lot of just giving the crypto industry, and which is what the lobbyists paid for, free reign to, it legitimizes it, which is good, but they're not being policed as much as they should be, in the way that these bills are written, I think. And that's what we need is, to have confidence in the market. And I think they should be policed properly, and the laws should be well written. So for them to just force this through, which, I mean, see, today's Wednesday, I think it was Monday, when Congress was trying to get the acts onto the floor for a vote, they wound up, it just got shot down right off the bat. I mean, it lost in the Congress, in the House, by something like 30 votes. So because there was a number of Republicans that held out on it, which was understandable. So but just the fact that it's Crypto Week in Washington, I think that may have been part of the reason why Bitcoin was rallying so much, starting Sunday, Monday. We'll see that Congress, the Republicans, and there are some Democrats that I think that signed on to part of the bills, although that vote in the House was strictly across party lines, plus with those few Republicans abstaining, or not abstaining, but voting no. So anyhow, all that having been said, it's still potentially an exciting time if you're holding. I personally am just sitting by the sidelines and kind of watching. I did. It looked like some of the meme coins have really taken off along with Bitcoin. Turbo, which I'm holding a lot of, that one that was up considerably this past week, and I took a little bit of profits on there, just because I've learned that after round tripping my bags here and there over the past few years, that I just need to be a little bit better about, when things are green, take some profits. So I've done that. I just pulled some out after. I mean, I'm down so much this year still since December anyways. Anybody in altcoins is. I mean, we were down 75%. Yeah, we saw some meme coins, that Pingu, the penguins one, which I had like $300 in that, which was almost nothing. I wish I'd kept more of that now, because that one I just went on to CoinMarketCap and looked at. I was looking at a couple different things, and then like the biggest gainer over the past 90 days was that the penguins, and it was like 600% or something. Like, oh, that's nice. Of course, I think when I bought it originally, it's just only like now back to where it was, so big deal. I mean, that's great, I guess. If you had bought it, or if when it was down at the bottom or near the bottom, and or if you had DCA'd in when it was lower, then great. But yeah, some of the meme coins are doing really well. The dog with hat, I had same thing. I think I had like $300 in that. That's worth like 900 now, which is cool. It's not life-changing money, but hey, a win's a win. And that one's only like, I checked this morning, that's only like 100 million market cap. So even $900 in that, if we do get a true altcoin season and memes really take off again, and it's similar to what we had in like 2021, and you happen to pick one of the half dozen really successful memes, or whatever, however many there are, $100 million market cap is nothing. If that could go to 10 billion, that's quite a multiplier, which is not unreasonable. I forget what Shiba Inu is at now and what it was at its peak, but if I was sitting on a computer doing this, I would go look it up. Robin, that would be better if you were doing these YouTube videos at your computer, but there's time for that. I guess people do. I see them posting the videos all the time. I don't have time for that. I gotta get to work, so I guess that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Happy Wednesday. Have a good week. Bye-bye.